Hey y'all, welcome back to Knitting in Our Jeans. I'm Liz.
I'm Carolyn.
And you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as TooLizzForYou, TOOLIZZFORYOU.
And I'm CPREDMOR on Ravelry and posting as Knitting in Our Jeans on Instagram. And I've posted a couple times because we've been out on our boat doing fix-it-up chores. It's may not be our boat after the middle of next week because it passed its inspection and they may be taking it away because today is the first day of summer as the weather people.
It is the solstice.
Yes. And so summer is starting, and I would think that most people who are buying a boat would want it immediately. I know I would like it. So anyway, if that all works out, then we're waiting on getting the boat in Maine inspected. So keep your fingers crossed for us. Anyway, we've been out working on the boat. So while we've been working on the boat, I took a couple pictures of other boats sailing, not ours. I don't have a hovercraft.
A drone?
Drone, thank you. And I don't expect I'll ever get one because I can't imagine catching it, quite frankly. There's no way.
You and Father coordinating. No, you have to get one where you could just land it in the water nearby and then grab it with a boat hook.
We could do that.
But I don't think they make those yet.
A sailplane.
I think it would have to be
We need a hovercraft sailplane.
A hovercraft that you could land in the water and then hook it with a boat hook like you do the mooring.
I think that would work.
I think that would
meanwhile,
work.
Speaking of sailplanes, they're they're flying sailplanes into Manhasset Bay again.
I was going to say, we saw some flying over, real low over Manhattan on
They're landing
Wednesday.
in Manhasset Bay and other bays because on Thursday or Friday last week, they were going over constantly.
Wow.
Constantly, and then heading back empty and then going back. So the sailplanes are flying from Manhattan. Seaplanes, yes. They're flying from Manhattan like crazy. So good for them. And I saw one land in Manhasset Bay.
Wow.
Then we've been there another day when it was already there. So, yes, we've been out working on the boat. I haven't let Richard go sailing on our boat since we put it up for sale because I said I don't want him to break anything.
Mm-hmm.
And since it passed inspection, he's not supposed to touch anything because it's supposed to remain
in situ,
the same as it was. Yes. So anyway, with luck, by next weekend it will be done.
Well, and it was very funny. I've thought about having you take a photo of me while I was up the mast, but it was way rockier up the mast than it was at water level.
It was actually pretty rocky, but it was
better than it could have been. I was really worried driving in.
Yeah, the next day it was windier, and the day before it was windier, so it was very lucky. And
it was very good the day we did it, but it was.
She installed light bulbs. Those things that they occasionally burn out. Well, Elizabeth went up the mast and replaced light bulbs. And then she had to go on to
a church vestry meeting.
And one of the mothers in the vestry has offered her sons to go up the mast, which I think is hysterically funny. Found out today that where our prospective boat is where another couple in church have their boat, and they will be up there at the same time as we will if we get to, if everything works out. So it's likely that...
Really?
Yes. Yes, that was the whole thing. They're going to be up there maybe 3 days before we get there.
I did not understand that from your comments and Dad's responses.
Yes.
That's exciting.
They're going up something like July 20th, anywhere between the 19th and the 23rd, and we're going to be up there like the 24th, 25th.
Oh, that'd be so great.
So, yeah, because Camden, Maine, there's lots of nice restaurants.
Well, I think it'd also be nice. Dad likes to have someone else with him for those,
I'm sure that they'd like to see our boat.
Well, to see the boat, and also...
And since it does have AIS...
And they'll know where the good grocery stores are.
They will. They absolutely will. And, it would be fun. And then she didn't tell us their boat's name, so I'm sure we can share. And I think they'd like to be the first people to see the boat. I think that's the whole allure
I think they would love
of
that.
the whole thing.
But I also think that They are Bodhi, like our church is a Bodhi church.
It is, absolutely.
But I do think that that they have found that this is the thing that they can bond with you two about.
Right.
And
right, because Larry really doesn't talk about singing that much.
No, and Ellen was in finance.
No, she's in education.
Oh,
she's a PhD in education.
I thought she was in on the business side of things.
No.
Oh.
Yeah, Larry was on the business side. She was a superintendent or something.
That checks out now.
Yeah, she was not teaching. She was in administration.
But yeah, so I've always appreciated them in our lives, and I think that this will be just
another. Oh, it would be tons of fun.
Moment.
So now, having been in that church close to 40 years,
yes,
maybe longer, I now have their cell phone numbers.
You went to St. Stephen's
before you, dear.
When you were at Highland?
Yes.
Oh, look at you.
Yes. I joined that church almost as soon as we went to Port Washington.
I'm not. Why am I shocked?
I joined when Kurt was an assistant rector.
Oh, my word.
Yes. And then I said, I want to join the church. And they said, well, you have to be an Episcopalian. I said,
I've got that.
I was, baptized and confirmed in the Episcopal church. And they said, what
we checked
church?
Those boxes.
And I said, I don't know the name, but I was confirmed at the church in Paoli, Pennsylvania. And they said, we can get that. Not a problem. So, yes, we've been there since as long as we've been in Port Washington.
Oh,
so
I did not realize that.
No. At least 40 years.
I did not realize that.
Yes. So anyway, we're recording before dinner.
I mean, that checks out then of why everyone's so amused that I'm now still there and vestry and
because I never would serve on the vestry.
No,
I
instead now I get to volunteer you for things.
Yes, well that's fine.
Well, things that we've already just I am not volunteering
discussed.
My parents mostly to do things. It's things that they have already said that they would be interested in doing.
Yes, and I do want to replace that flywheel. Maybe not this weekend, maybe next week, so it's ready to go.
Yeah, we can do that.
Because since they're talking about doing the fairs outside.
Yeah, we could definitely do that.
It could be done. We could start that anytime.
Anyway. So now you've gotten the update from our lives at church.
Yes.
So how is your cross-stitching going? Because as Gigi and Jasmine would say, I have had an issue with mine.
All right, so you can see that this has moved along. The water around the boat is complete. I'm so proud of that. I really am. And there is more filled in here. M is now filled in. Where's M? Here's M. This column, M, has filled in by the water. I still have a couple things up here to do. And I'm actually working on N down here. And so what happens is there's like one or two spaces or cells or crosses of a particular color down here, and then it gets filled in over here someplace. And so you can see that happen with some of this light peach and some of this peach. So I've been doing a little over here and then filling in a lot over here, but I did get the water in, so I'm really quite pleased. And I love this. I'm really very happy with this. I almost got myself in trouble again. I was looking for a kind of cross-stitch of Triquetere in Italy, and they only have the pre-printed ones. Darn.
Not bad.
I know. Too much. Anyway, progress has been made on this.
You're also not a pre-printed kind of person.
I really am not. I'm really not, because those things are often off.
Yeah.
They're off the crosses, and it's really disconcerting.
It is. So...
Go ahead.
I have gotten the first release. I've started part of it, and you'll notice that there's a part missing that was here last week. That's because I started doing this piece here, and I realized that this entire middle bar is one stitch too tall, or too high. And since we don't know what's happening around or below, like
above
it, over here, or below it down here, I am now frogging it. And I have restarted to put the dark line on the top there, since I already had that threaded.
Oh, you went up and down?
Yeah, I went
because I tend to go across.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was so long, it was more economical for
Got it.
hoop space, and also my, like, seeing it progress to do it this up and down.
That's why it did take the whole thing. Got it.
If I had gone across, I wouldn't have to take the whole thing apart.
It'd just be one row.
It's okay.
Oh, well.
So, you can see I've taken out, this is the first release here, so I will finish at least this much of the middle bar, and then I will fill in this section. I did one part of it already, which is the jewel. So the first release is about Becca Cooper, which is the, she's a provost's dog, which is a cop, essentially, in the Tamora Pierce Tortall universe. And so it is, this ends up being bookshelves, apparently. It's been released, and it is books with a quote.
I like it with the darker.
Yeah, it looks really nice with the dark. So
yes, it does.
I'm really glad. So I got that done. I pulled the top bar over to fill in that. So I think it will move along well. This moved really quickly, and I think that's because it's three different purples and then the dark like gold. So doing that was pretty quick.
Interesting.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm excited to get to the actual releases while fixing my boo-boos along the way.
They happen. They happen like crazy.
Yes, they do.
So but the reason I didn't make all that much progress on the cross stitch is because we now have a leg. Whoops. Whoops. There we go. We have one leg that is 7 3/4 inches long, and I have started the second leg. So I do have to make a trip to Joann's to pick up a zipper.
Okay.
I am thinking of a deep teal.
Okay, yeah, because I was going to say you don't have any deep teals downstairs.
I don't have any deep teals, and stuff like that is packed.
No, it's not.
It's not?
No, I can get to it very easily. I found it last week.
Oh. Anyway.
You don't have a zipper that would match that,
I don't have a deep teal.
No.
So, that I think would be very pretty.
It would be very pretty.
So anyway, this has been moving apace. I think I'm going to continue working on my cross stitch tonight. There's 2 shows in Scottish castles.
And the Olympic
trials, the swimming, the second part of the last part. No,
the last day of the swim trials,
right?
And part 2 of the first weekend of the track and field,
right? Olympic trials continue on through next Sunday, the 27th. So excited, and then the 26th starts the tour, the Tour de France. Yes, we're so excited.
It's Mother's favorite time of year.
My hair looks straight. Do you know why? Because I've been pulling it back in a tiny ponytail doing my walks.
Oh.
I'm up to 2 miles a day.
You are.
We are very excited. We didn't do them today because church. And you got to get out before it gets too hot. We walked over to the pharmacy, and you can just be drenched. So
it was.
We did both. So we got to walk in.
Mm-hmm.
But church took precedence. There is no choir. And we have pre-recorded music, and we're singing along.
So we have pre-recorded music on our organ. So essentially, our organ now plays itself when you
push a button.
Which is one of the things I think we did best when we bought that organ for the church.
Yes.
And decided to do that because now we're able to do that because we are sans organist for a little bit.
Yes.
But yeah. So what I've been also working on is I've been working on the test knit in Magpie Solstice. You can see the lace of the back of it is starting to happen. I really like working with this yarn. It's, as I've said, it's 50% merino, 25% silk, 25% cotton. I'm really enjoying the hand of it. It's not too drying.
It's nice.
I find with cottons or linens, I have to moisturize my hands a lot more.
Okay.
Which means you can't like, you have to wash your sweater before you wear it. I know sometimes, we always say to wash and block your sweater before you wear it the first time. I don't know about you all, but sometimes I'm like, no, it's beautiful, it's done, I'm putting it on my body.
And a friend of ours never washes and blocks hers.
Really? Which one? The one with a small human now?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes. So...
No names. I put no names out here.
So I do have to say, though, with the linen or the cottons, I tend to moisturize a lot more. Not to a significant extent where my hands feel oily, but to just a point where I notice that I do have to moisturize a little bit more because the yarn does suck that moisture out of your hands.
And, you know, we don't get many yarns today that have the natural lanolin in it. I can remember when you could get the unsuper treated,
unprocessed,
wool, and your hands would become lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I
bet
find
if
that
we,
anymore.
well, I bet working with more things like the yarn from Wing and a Prayer Farms and the more farm-based yarns.
Perhaps.
I think also when we've used the stuff from Long Island Yarn and Farm, that's been a bit more lanolly.
Yes.
Yeah. I think it's the more farmy yarns.
I think you're right, but it used to be quite common. Anyway. Anything else?
Not with this.
Okay, I have started my Symmetry.
Oh, wow.
And moved a pace. So now I have joined up. I've got my shoulders, and I'm working on continuing the V-neck coming down. And I have stopped. I've made myself stop until I finish the second leg. So now I'm pacing this with my onesie. It really isn't a onesie because it doesn't have feet. But, so this is moving along. I'm really happy with it. And this thing flies. It absolutely flies.
So does the test knit I'm doing? Oh,
well,
my word.
It's the whole idea of the selfish knitter. This is for me, therefore it's flying. Anyway, anything else?
I have been working on my socks at work during meetings, but I fell asleep on my couch a lot this week. Work is getting a little crazy because we're going for TCO in the next few months for my building that I'm building and finishing, which means that we're pulling some longer hours, and the days are just a bit more crazed than they have been in the past. And being vaccinated in New York, reopening a lot of the restaurants and other things, I've got plans. So weird.
I know.
So weird. Speaking of plans, Rhinebeck is happening this year.
We didn't buy our...
I have tickets for Saturday for us. We can buy Sunday tickets before we go back downstairs.
Yes. Or while we're watching the castles.
But do get your tickets. They are either Saturday or Sunday tickets because they need to have a head count because there are still some limitations on capacity sizing for even outdoor events because we don't know what the Delta variant is going to do in the U.S. We've already seen implications of it, but just to be safe, they are making... They do not have weekend tickets. They have Saturday and Sunday. So just be aware. If you're going to get them, either pick one day or buy both.
And housing has been relatively open. A friend of ours booked an Airbnb, and we have said, yes, we'll take that big bedroom because she was looking for someone who would take a king-size bed. And we normally do that. Yeah. So we said, we'll do that. Now, the other three ladies that were at the knitting night looked at me and my daughter, don't worry about this. It's fine.
She kicks me in the middle of the night, but that's okay.
I want to say what you do. Anyway,
I probably flail like a son of a gun.
Yes, you do. As a matter of fact. So we have the house, I think, from Thursday on.
Yes.
Yes.
So
very excited.
Indie Untangled has not been announced whether or not that will be in person or virtual yet. Right. I do know that the vendors have been selected. So we should be hearing about that sometime soon. I also know that Indie Untangled Industry just happened earlier this week and went swimmingly. So that's exciting.
Although there has been some comments that if vendors are going to only sell to limited retailers, that they should be putting that in their little upfront blurbs rather than having you try to wait and go through the entire video and then learn that it's a restricted area. So I think that's fair, because if I was going online and watching something and then finding out they're only going to sell to people in California, I would be upset. Yes. So,
but I do think the general commentary has all been positive that it is a good way for the retailers to find out about these indie dyers and actually have contact with these dyers, but also for the dyers to have more contact with the retailers.
Yes, absolutely.
So comment
has been made that I didn't discuss our future plans with you, and you learned about our future plans online or on this. And that was because I am somewhat superstitious in that I was afraid our boat would not go through its inspection. And so I wasn't telling almost anybody any future plans because, if you speak about them, they don't happen. It's like my mother I could wash my hair at midnight on any week and be fine. Unless I told my mother. And then she'd say, don't do that, you'll catch a cold. And I would do it anyway, and I would catch a cold. So it's along those lines. Anyway.
Okay.
Yes. You understand.
Were there
Hello?
Well, okay.
All right.
Thank you. We are being alerted that dinner has arrived.
He loves to eat his dinner very hot. I'm more than happy to let it go for 5 minutes.
Yes. Speaking of that, it is Father's Day for those who
Happy Father's Day.
are celebrating. Happy Father's Day. We also acknowledge that some people have a complicated relationship with Father's Day. So we hope that you have a good day.
Yes.
And that it is...
You could celebrate summer.
Yes. You have the solstice that you can also celebrate.
Yes.
I really have not knit much or done much this week. It's been a very chill week.
Some things.
Oh, you got... I forgot to bring... I bought a mug. It's a great mug. It's going to be my new work mug.
So I have...
Bring it.
Sorry. Some acrylic that I was given by one of our friends. So I have
in a D-stash?
Yes, in a D-stash. And I got this to be knitting for Munchkins. So I like the colors, and I think it will be very handy to have for Munchkins. All of us at the knitting group thought that using acrylic for Munchkins was excellent.
Yes.
And then the other thing I did...
Oh, goodness.
Ooh. ...was I got some cotton.
Ooh, some lang.
Yes. So this is 80% cotton, 20% nylon. So I
that'll
think
give it some spring.
it will wear quite well. And I just picked a pattern called Meridian.
Okay.
From EweKnit in Toronto. And they have it, it's a summer top that
with little
has
cap sleeves.
Little cap sleeves and lace open work. And they have it with fingering and lace. And I have some lace up there.
That you can't see.
It's off screen. That is on a large spindle. I actually bought it for weaving. But it is lace weight, so I can put that with the cotton. I think it'll make a really nice top. So some stuff from Stash and some stuff that's new. I bought 10 of these. So that should be...
500 grams.
Well, 1,300 meters is what I was looking at.
Okay, 1,300 meters.
Which is X number of yards.
1,200 yards?
No, more.
Oh, 14.
Maybe 14, somewhere between 13, 15, and 14 yards, which is certainly enough for that top. In fact, I had bought it for another Symmetry, and it's more than enough. So, anyway, that's my new stuff.
It is 1420.
Okay,
yards.
So it's plenty for a medium sleeve summer top.
Yeah, definitely.
So the pattern came out and was sent to me in an email. Well, not sent to me, but notification about the pattern was sent to me in an email today, and it's free on Ravelry. So apparently EweKnit, and I couldn't find any other connection to it. So.
All right.
But it is there and it's free, so that's something.
Yeah.
Other than that,
It's been a weird week.
Well, I fell asleep on the couch once.
I mean,
I
did it
all
like
night.
Yeah, no, I woke up at 6:30 one morning.
Oh, well, I'm glad you woke up at 6:30 since you have to go to work.
Oh, I do, but it was like one of the mornings where I was like, oh, I have slept through the whole night on the couch.
It happens. It happens.
Better than getting up at 4 and not sleeping well the next part.
Right. No, I thought I was kind of snuggling down to read.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing I know, I woke up.
Mm-hmm.
It was something like 6 in the morning, and I went, okay. These things happen. I was comfortable.
That's good.
Didn't wake up with a headache, so
hey.
all things good. Your father came down and said, did you sleep in the bed last night? I went, no. He says, I didn't think so. The pillow wasn't moved. I went, so apparently he takes a mental picture of where my pillow is. And then, because he goes to bed first because he has a restless leg.
Mm-hmm.
And so he needs to get settled, because if I'm there, he can't get settled.
No, he can't settle.
No, he can't settle. So I stay up until half an hour or an hour after he goes to bed so that I can get into the bed and he'll be settled and he'll be able to sleep through the night. And then I'm up way before he is.
Mm-hmm.
So according to him, he would never really know
No.
if I'd gone to bed. And only now he's taking a mental picture of my pillow.
Good, though. That's checking in on you. Checking in on you.
So other than that, the knitting group, it was so much fun to see everybody after 15 months of not seeing everybody.
Well, I mean, we see them on
Zoom.
On the Zoom space.
Yes.
But to see them in person.
Yes, it's really
Good.
nice. And one of our people of our knitting group is the woman who got the Airbnb. And as we said, even if they cancel Rhinebeck, we can have a weekend away because we've all been vaccinated.
Yes.
She works in the medical field,
Yes.
And I have no no hesitation about going away with her unless there's some new thing that comes out, Black Plague. So I think it'll be fine.
I think so too.
And since we've already been to Florida and Maine and places in between, I'm not really that. I mean, we're aware of things. I don't think we're ignoring things, but at some point, we're going to take our masks off. Just like the 1919 flu. Eventually the masks
we get
come off
vaccinated
and we get back to whatever's going to be normal. Speaking of which, air travel is going nuts.
Mm-hmm.
So you may find that
I have a flight that is tracked, that I'm tracking for January, and it is fluctuating $200 every 3 days.
Yeah. And there's been a lot in the news about car rentals. We didn't find a problem getting a car rental. You may pay more than you thought you might.
Because everyone's getting out. Everyone wants out.
I don't really find that a problem. Not being able to get a car is a problem.
Yes.
Having to pay more for the car, well, that's an economic decision that you need to make.
Yes.
Honestly, during the summer, we rarely go anyplace. Well,
Right.
recently, we haven't gone any place where you'd have to rent a car.
Mm-hmm.
We are speaking perhaps about going to Switzerland next summer.
Things I find out on the podcast.
Well, your father has, Switzerland on a bucket list.
Can I come?
I doubt it. You can meet us there.
Okay.
Well, because we're thinking about spending a month.
Okay, yeah, I'll come out for a week.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. We don't want to spend a month with you, though.
That's fine.
Because we really loved Lake Como when we were there, and I think spending a month or so in Europe would be lovely. I mean, I'd love to go.
Retirement sounds lovely.
I know. I'd love to go to Scotland and Switzerland. Maybe we'll do S's.
Go to Scotland without me. I want to go to Scotland.
Well, maybe you could hit us at the end of Scotland
and the beginning of
Switzerland.
Switzerland. All right, we'll see.
We'll see. So anyway, we're really kind of batting that around. By next summer, should everything remain along the way it's going, I would think that travel would open up even further.
Yes.
So
borders will probably be more open.
This summer just didn't seem a good idea. Plus, there's the whole boating thing. So
and the borders. I don't know. Some European countries are still
right.
loath to accept
right.
Anyone.
Right. And I think by next summer that if you have been vaccinated, that you're not going to also have to get a COVID test.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be show your vaccination receipt.
Yes.
Because I think Europe is using a green passport.
Mm.
And
Like New York has the Excelsior
yes.
pass.
Yes. And I think by showing that, you'll be able to just scoot onto the plane. I know that when we flew to Florida, no one asked. No one cared. So, but then it was Florida.
And also you're wearing a mask in the airport and
Yes.
on the airplane.
Yes. Yes.
You're flying within the country. And so.
Yes. And I'm waiting for it to get that easy going to Europe.
Yes.
Which I think will be next summer. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Anything else, my dear?
I think that's all.
Not bad.
Week. Yeah.
All right. So we'll see you
It's a short one this week, y'all. We will talk to you all
That's right.
next week.
We'll see you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.